morning, everyone. I hope the conference is treating you very well. I'm also very excited over here and sharing the stage with some of the wonderful experts. So thank you very much, Team WSO2, for having me here. So today, it's working? Yeah. So just a quick note on what I'll be covering. First, talk about how the application modernization started for a digital bank. It's a realistic journey which I'll be presenting over here. That how it gets started, what were the architecture challenges, what were the cultural shifts we brought in, and how WSO2 standed out in helping each and every aspect of 5 hours of architecture and modernization. And what was before and after we implemented done the modernization. If you're not part of the summit, a quick recap about myself. I'm in the industry for over last 2 decades and helping government sector, financial sectors, and private sectors across GCC regions, UK and Africa as well, where I have helped them in their transformation journey and helped them reimagine their system that not only to run, but for intelligence. And additionally, I'm an author of Decoding LLMs. This is my first publication where I have shared practical insight how organizations can embrace AI. If you get a chance, please grab a copy from Kindle. I would be more than happy to see your feedback over there. So it all started with a short video which went viral in 48 hours and crossed 1 million views. What was the issue? The issue was very simple, that customer was not onboarded, and it took 4 days to onboard a customer. The customer was very nasty customer. Sometimes you have some customers which gives you spark to do something real. So he loaded this video and showed the entire journey, what has happened. And based on that, it outraged across our customers, then the chairman, board members, and everyone, that what we are doing. We are a digital bank or we are a grocery shop. 4 days where the other new banks were onboarding customer within 10 minutes. And we were in 2023. We were not back in early 2000 or something where this was happening. So we were already, seeing the era of ChatGPT and other things, and the AI is on the verge, but still, this was not acceptable. So high-level decision was taken, and we started a very quick project called Project Swift, that we have to think something new, think something out of the box, and come up with something which will help the bank to grow and penetrate the market and regain the trust of the customer. So what were the challenges? So before, I was being assigned as the chief architect, so I was handling both from the business side and the technology side to make it modernized in a way which the bank is envisioning. So my first thing was to understand what were the challenges the bank was facing on this. And if you see that, if you talk about any legacy application, the challenges were the same over here, and which I've seen in practical, that these were the challenges were faced by the bank as well. So UI tight coupling, UI UX was tightly coupled with the business logic. Some business logics were written in the mobile app, some in the business layer, and some at the database level. So it was very difficult for a customer, for the business to come up with the innovative products and implement. So it was not possible quickly to drive innovation and build something, launch some new products over there. Deployment flexibility. The solution was completely deployed on our old school VM-based architecture. So if a business wants to run a campaign, they have to come up with something. They have to be very, they were very cautious. They were not open in their offering because they know the limitations of the system. If they want to come, they have to even for a small service, they have to put a big money for scaling the infrastructure to run their campaign successfully because the system was not able to take the load. Reusability, some functionalities within the applications were written beautifully, but again, it lived and died with the system itself because you cannot use that functionality and expose it outside as an API so that other channels can also use it. So that was another stuck over there. Very important, modern authentication. The system was running by the grace of God, to be honest. There was no attack, cyber attack. They were using local authentication, and I was thinking that, I don't know how the cybersecurity has allowed this system to go live. But this was there, and it was running with a local authentication with a very basic encryption and decryption. Data analytics, last but not the least. Business wants to give next best offer to the customer when they purchase by looking at their purchase trends. And they wanted to start some geolocation-based offerings. But they were not able to do it. If I'm purchasing something from Marks & Spencer and I want to give an immediate offer to my customer based on a geolocation, the campaign message was coming a day after when I purchased. So I missed my market over there. Because they have written complex ETL job to move the data out of that system to the data lake. What was the architecture? When I saw the architecture, the as-is architecture, I felt that I am doing a time traveling. I am going back to my early 2000s, and I wish I could, but that's not the reality. So it was, mobile and online banking channel, and where you can see the fatty layer, which is a custom business access layer, where all the crown jewels were hard-coded. If you talk about local authentication, it was coming over there. If you talk about the back office users, also, the module was built within that particular fatty app. And if I tell you about the tech stack, it was a .NET Framework 3.5 and running on Windows. So again, I banged my head. I said, boss, Windows is for gaming, not for middleware deployment. So what they created, a middleware on top of a middleware. And where they put custom logics over there and built something, which was able to run the shows. See, important is, running the show is not important. But whenever from the architecture team, when we used to call it out, that you have to move forward, think out of the box, but we always got to know that the system is running. Why I need to worry? It's running, it's giving me cash, there is a cash flow, so I don't need any improvement. I don't want to invest because IT is always considered as an expense center, not a profit center. So I will not get the budget. I always call them and say that why you have to wait for a viral video and then you take a proactive action, reactive action. Why not proactive? If you are in a financial industry, then technology is the core of everything. Because banks are actually a technology company with a banking license. Can you imagine a bank running on papers at this point in time? No. So this is where, all the, the hard things were there. And even when they put some, run some campaign or run some new products, it triggers a long release cycle with a long regression. And if one area was fixed, after some time we identified that, after a couple of weeks, we identified 10 new issues that need to be fixed because, because people don't know what has gone wrong. The only good part we had, quite, I would not call it, stable, 100% stable, but stable than the above layer, iPaaS layer, integration platform as a service, which was doing the, protocol transformation and getting information from the core. And if you see at the back, at the last, okay, there is a complex ETL jobs being written, which was causing the issue on the data analytics front as well. So now, after this, we applied 5 R's. You might have heard of 4 R's, but I have derived a 5R formula for modernization. What are these? Rehost. So we look into that each and every layer of the technology on this. So we applied rehost. We moved an old-scale VM-based platform to Kubernetes platform. Then re-architected. We entirely broke down the fatty layer into business capability-driven microservices, which helped, bring the atomicity and what the business was looking at. That if they want to run a campaign on the cards, okay, it's only impacting my card service, it's not impacting my entire application. So we did that. Rebuild, we completely revamped the UI UX. And just to inform you, the UI UX was built on a RAD tool. I would not call it, give a name, but you know the RAD tools for mobile out systems are there. Kony is there, which is being used. But my serious recommendation is, if you're a bank and you're developing native application, customer-facing application, please avoid these RAD tools, because you are having a heavy dependency on user experience, because you cannot release some new features which are coming as a part of a modern UI UX. You are always stuck with their platform releases. Unless and until they release something, we are not able to do something on the UI UX. So that's why there were many things being hard-coded within application to achieve that UI UX, and some part of it was in that fatty layer. We replaced custom CMS with API-driven CMS called Strapi. And we replaced CIM, the local authentication, with WSO2 identity manager on this. And just to add on the CMS, the way people was acting, if I want to run a campaign on my mobile app, the business users were giving requests to the IT, providing them banners, and the IT used to do hard code and upload it, do some coding, and then the campaign runs. So imagine that the campaign should go immediately. It was taking a week's time to get the campaign loaded. Refactor. The last bit is refactor. Since I told you that the iPaaS layer was bit stable, so we refactored certain components of it, made it was a SOA compliant. So we created a facade layer on top of it to make it compatible with Open API and REST API standards. So how does WSO2 stands out over here in all my 5 R's? So if I talk about rehosting, I got a API management tool, okay, which was a container compliant. So I can easily deploy WSO2 components within my container. So that was again a good decision made by us, that we went to something, okay, which is a cloud native application. Architecture, re-architect, when we build microservices, the microservices needs to be, the APIs of microservices needs to be exposed to the outside world. And we cannot directly expose out to the outside world. we have to have something in place like rate limiting, like threat modeling, all these things to be placed on top of my API gateway. And I want my microservice to be only business driven, not the technology driven elements to be a part of it, which was the previous case. So WSO2 gave me this capability that I can easily pick and choose the threat modeling area, rate limiting, and even I can do monetization today, which was not happening as of yesterday. Rebuild, okay, the RAT tool. We completely move away from RAT tool to a React native solution. And within React native solution, we require a stable API gateway for use as a backend as a service, backend for frontend. So I use WSO2 micro API gateway, which embedded within the React native. It helped me over there creating a micro API gateway for my front-end channel. So from the top layer to the down layer, everything was API compliant based on open APIs and standard APIs. Refactor iPaaS we replace WSO2 Identity Manager, which comes also a native component with WSO2. You can use separately as well, but since we are using the API gateway, so it was easy to get married between the native component of APIM and the Identity Manager. Refactor iPaaS, when we expose REST APIs from my iPaaS, so WSO2 helped creating wrapper APIs very quickly without writing a single line of a code, and which exposed to the channels on this. So that's why WSO2 stand out at all my arts, and we were able to achieve, and it give us a solid foundation on the modernization journey of our digital bank. So this was before, and that's the after picture. So how we came up with this to that. And if I zoom in a bit, so I think to this point, no, I think it's not working. Sorry, this pointer is not working out. So what has happened over here? So you can see my foundation of my digital bank. My first touch point is my API management platform, which provides me smart routing, CIM, threat detection, API LM, lifecycle management, and dev portal out of the box. So my internal and external developers, I have my developer portal, my integration becomes very smooth, and I was able to complete my integration with my internal and external partner very easily, because I expose standard APIs outside the world, and they were just going through the dev portal, doing a self-service registration to achieve to integrate with our solution. There was no long-running meetings required or document specification needs to be given to the customers, because all was there on my dev portal. Even today, if as a third-party developer you want to go and register to the bank, you can easily go now and register to the bank as an external developer, and you can use the open APIs over there. So that's the power we achieve from our WSO2. So the complexity behind the scene is all kept behind WSO2. My CMS was Strapi, which was headless CMS, which only exposes APIs. So all my APIs to my back office were exposed through my API management. So we converted the native Strapi APIs to open API standards, so we can use internally, and if we want to export it outside as well, if there is a use case, it was made ready for the future as well. So now if you see over here that the base layer, what we created, accounts, cards, payments, omnichannel, sentiment analysis, credit scoring, that's my core base heart of the entire digital framework. And each layer was focusing only the bit of the element which they were supposed to do. They were not doing anything more than like smart routing, CIM, and threat detection, because all was taken care by WSO2. So developers were very focused, and we used ChatGPT coding model, which basically help us drive these, microservices code. So in a more structured way, and we expose standard APIs through which WSO2 created a wrapper APIs to expose it as an open APIs. Rest, we introduced some AI models, okay, over there, which is there, and we recently introduced agentic AI as well. So if you see that, my architecture is really composable, I can inject and reject any of the element, okay, depending on my needs. So just what technology stack we use, okay, for the UI UX, okay, there were three competitors, Angular, React Native, and Vue.js, but we went with the React Native because it was coming out more stable and based on the needs of the bank. Identity and access management, for the back office user, we use Active Directory. Okay, and for the front office, for my customers, we use WSO2 identity access. Now, we started this identity manager for my retail use case. Now we are going to expand this identity manager as a group-wide. So we are a group of bank, it's a multinational bank. So this identity manager will be served to multiple entities and multiple verticals to it, just by doing some configuration and having a role-based access control to provide a logical segregation. That's the power of identity manager over there. Orchestration and API, as mentioned, WSO2 and Strapi, and we choose again open standard and open source solution for creating the business service layer on the microservices. Some models which we use at the start, we're still evolving over there, skit-learn, transformer, Hugging Face, and OpenCV, which we use over them. CentOI was the middleware as an iPaaS. Event Hub, we use Kafka, and for data platform, Hadoop and Spark on this. Okay, so from 0 to digital in 12 months. Onboarding, which was taking 4 days, on an average it was taking 2 days, but no one complained with the God grace. But one of the nasty customer uploaded the video, and we have to spend days and nights to fix this issue. And you need someone to, push such customers to push us to the limits. And this is we thank to that customer who has created this. And onboarding, within 10 minutes, we were able to do it. 200 plus APIs, OAuth2 plus SSO2. Weekly, we are releasing every new features. Now, business is very happy. They can, whatever they dreamt last night, and they come up with a product idea, we are matching the velocity of the business needs. So that's the power, we got. And real-time audit logs for compliance. Yeah, this is very important topic because, all applications emit logs. So you need to ask question whether your application emits logs or emits intelligence. So there is a difference between emitting log and intelligence. If your team is spending hours and hours to identify a root cause for a breakdown, then your application is not intelligent. It's only emitting logs, not intelligence. So you need to work on that to emit intelligence so that the root cause can be identified, and it can automate as well at certain point as well that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to fix that issue automatically. And WSO2, this is our CEO comments that WSO2 help us build agility, not just APIs. Thanks to WSO2. So how we can replicate success, the practical takeaways. You can also do that thing. You can start with a very simple use case. You can come up with a use case of customer onboarding or KYC. You can start with that. And then, you can have a modular approach of what WSO provides over there, driving the business capabilities. And third point would be it's a must-have that you should have a developer portal and a self-service registration. There shouldn't be any long-running integration meeting that you give me your format, I give you my format, and then we marry together, and then the integration works. It has to be self-service nowadays, both for internal and both for external. Observability is important because, again, it's a must-have. emitting logs versus emitting intelligence. And again, please refrain from having local authentication as much as possible, because this will kill, not now, but in the near future, definitely it can be identified and it can be hijacked by anybody.